Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. It's our little pre-show that we do here on our live Computer America video stream. And we have, in the first hour, Mike Cermak from TechGuy.org is here with us. And we're going to be talking about his Tesla. He went the distance with no problems. We'll talk about that. And in the second hour, we'll have Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show as we get started for a Wednesday edition of the Computer America program.
One minute until showtime.
Mike, go ahead and put yourself on mute.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your lower third's not working again, Ben?
I turned it on earlier.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And before the show started, I had a little choking experience, and I still hasn't cleared up. But I'm sure it will recover in a few minutes. But welcome into our show, and hopefully you had a good day. And we have a great program planned for you tonight. In the second hour, we've got some really great stories, computer and technology stories, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Yes, they are. And let's see, what else? Something happened today, and I didn't write it down. It's an important thing that I wanted to make an observation about.
Like weather-wise, news-wise, personal happenstance-wise?
It was a technology thing item, and I made a mental note of it, and of course that was worthless, evidently. So I should have written it down, but I didn't, so I don't remember what it was. But okay, well, it'll come to me probably. Yeah, Jonathan says I have to stop smoking that stuff. I don't smoke, Jonathan, but you know. Okay. However, if you want to get involved with the show, you want to have comments, questions, suggestions, because it's open mic night, and that's a double entendre because it's open mic and our guest name is Mike. You can give us a call at 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at ComputerAmerica.com. I just remembered what it was. It's something to do with the chat room. Okay. But I'll mention.
Some to do with the add-on chat?
Yes, I'll talk about that. So, if you want to chat with us, you can just click the chat room /video, live video button on our homepage. You'll get a split screen. On the left-hand side is the entry form that moves you into our chat room. Put in a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you in there. And sharing that same page is our live Computer America video streaming page, because you can not only listen to the Computer America show, because we're primarily a radio talk show, but you can also watch our live streaming video. all the big radio shows have it now. I mean, you watch them. Basically, it's the guys that are talking with the headsets and microphones sitting around, but we take advantage of it because we also have a feature where we can also display what is being shown on our guest screen. Sometimes we have video demonstrations, so it's always interesting to check the live Computer America video stream. And it starts up automatically when you click that button, too, so you don't really have to do anything. So that said, let's bring our guest on the show. He is Mike Cermak, the owner-operator of TechGuy.org, a website dedicated to helping others with their computer problems and answering their questions. Now, if you're looking for free technical support, call Microsoft. No.
I don't think they're free.
No, TechGuy.org is the right place to be. It's been around since 1996, and Mike's site is completely run by volunteers and his family, and paid for completely by donations and sponsors. Mike is also one of our Computer America correspondents who appears on every first Wednesday of the month. Is this the first Wednesday of the month? Gee, Ben, what happened to March?
April 1st. It's yeah.
It's April.
Came by quick.
Mike, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing really well, you guys. How are you?
You see, you shouldn't have said anything, and it's, oh, I guess we don't have Mike tonight, and then we go, April Fools!
I should have kept myself muted for the whole show. That would have been really funny.
So,
well, next time I'm on April 1st, I'll do that.
Did you do anything for April Fools, just out of curiosity?
I did not. No.
No pranks.
Did you guys see? I didn't do any pranks. Did you guys see the com.google website?
I always go to ThinkGeek is the first thing I do. But what's
ThinkGeek is good. Well, com.google, instead of google.com, you reverse it. You put in com.google.
Yeah.
And it reverses everything on Google, including the search results and anything you type, and it's kind of clever. You'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now, as a matter of fact. But
yeah, com.google.
Com.google. Okay, com.google.
And then actually use it. Actually type in Computer America or something.
Look at that. It's
could be helpful.
Look at that. That's very cool. Look at that. Everything is backwards. Everything backwards.
So for some reason I like things backwards. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. It's an interesting little tip.
I should. One of my employees was really upset with the Amazon April Fool's Day. I don't know if you saw that, where they had kind of a retro, like 1990s looking Amazon homepage. I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, as of right now, it still comes up with this old school. Greg probably remembers the old school. He probably looked at it and he's like, "Oh, it's back to the way it used to be." And Ben looks at it and thinks, "What the heck is this?"
Amazon.com. I'm going there. Oh, look, it is the old Amazon. Welcome.
Doesn't that bring back memories? Remember when it used to look like that?
Wow. Oh, it has gone retro. April Fools. That's very cool. And are all the links valid?
I believe they are, actually.
Yeah, no, but it goes to the live. It actually goes to the live website. It's just the homepage.
I think if you click on one of the actual product links, it actually takes you to that particular product. But I don't know why you would want to. If you click outside of one of the product links, it just takes you to the normal homepage.
It seems like they just changed the CSS, so just like the way it's displayed. But I wouldn't doubt that all of it is still valid.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I thought, anyhow. But I thought it was cool because it looked very familiar to me. It brought back good memories. But other people who weren't as familiar with it didn't find it quite as funny.
You know, we could go back and take the original Computer America website from 1995. And
I was thinking about that, but then I was afraid that you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this. This is comfortable and safe. We can put this one back up." And you were going to leave it up, and we can't risk it, folks. We can't risk it.
Exactly. You worked on that first website with us, Mike, didn't you?
Not the very first one. Although I don't know. Whenever we took it over, I don't know if that was still the first one or not. I didn't work with the development of it.
No, actually, I think I used with AOL. I think helped me with the
AOL. I think I remember AOL.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, wow, blast from the past. Anyhow.
Speaking of the April Fool's one, I want to throw one more out here, which will kind of segue for you a little bit. But Tesla Motors, I was starting to tell you guys before the show started. I'll put a link to the Facebook page of Tesla Motors in the chat for those in there. But they posted a video about ticket avoidance mode. That there's a upcoming upgrade. They do these wireless software updates on the Tesla to add features, and the new feature coming is this ticket avoidance mode. That when it senses that there's a parking enforcement officer nearby, it'll turn on the windshield wipers and spray the windshield wiper fluid and then drive autonomously around the block to avoid getting a ticket. It's kind of a funny little video.
That's very, very cute.
It's like it's in panic mode. It's like, oh no, I can't do this, and it just like starts crying and running away. Yeah.
Which is exactly what I usually do when I get a ticket.
Exactly.
Yes, the fun and joys of getting a ticket. Well, we always ask Mike. I always ask Mike what he would like to talk about, chat with us, and I sort of leave it to him. I said, why don't you pick something? And one of the things that you are just back this past week from a trip from Baltimore to Denver, around
Yes,
1,800 miles each way, and you did it without using one single solitary drop of gas.
yes. Yeah, we went from my home here in South Central Pennsylvania, went down to Baltimore to pick up my sister-in-law, and then we all drove, her and my wife and my 4-year-old son, we all drove out to Denver. My wife's brother out there and his family just had their second child, and so we went out and gave him a hand and took the first child out of the house for a little while and made some meals and did that sort of thing.
Oh.
But it was a great trip and kind of exciting, a fun road trip. It took 2.5 days each way to get out there and get back.
Now, did you have to plan, looking for superchargers and all that stuff?
Yeah, I did have to plan a little bit. There's an update from Tesla. For those who don't know, I have a Tesla. If you've ever listened to the show before, you know I have a Tesla, and I love Tesla, and I love electric cars. And Tesla's an all-electric car. There's no gas whatsoever. It's not a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid or anything. There's really no option for gas in it. And so we took that all the way from Denver and back. And I did plan it a good bit because I wanted to have some idea as to how much we could get done travel-wise in a day comfortably. I wanted to have some idea where we'd be stopping to spend the night and that sort of thing. There's an upcoming update for the Tesla software, the 6.2 update, and that's one of the things I love about Tesla is that there's always new updates coming, and they're all free updates over the air, just like your phone gets an update. Do you want to install the latest version of whatever phone you have? Same thing pops up on my screen in the car. It just says there's a new version of the Tesla 6.2 available. Do you want to install it now? And so there's a new version coming up this week that's actually going to have trip planning built into it. So if I sit there now and say go to Denver, it's going to say, great, no problem, go to this charger and then this charger and then this charger and then this charger and then you'll be in Denver. But the current software doesn't do that for you. So I did bring up an Excel sheet, and being the nerd that I am, figured out pretty closely, almost down to the minute, how long I would have to be charging at different places and how long it would take to drive from point A to point B, and you know what happens when you have a nerd and a spreadsheet.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and it was quite exciting. Everything it was a little bit more complicated by the fact that there are no superchargers in Missouri as of when I started making my plans. And so there's many ways you can charge an electric car. Traditionally, what you usually do is I pull into my garage every night and I plug it in there. I have a 220 volt plug in my garage, so I plug it in there, and some nights it may charge for half an hour, some nights it may charge for 3 hours. It just depends on how much driving I did that day, but it really doesn't matter at home how long it takes to charge. I'm sleeping anyway. It could take 8, it never would, but it could take 8 hours to charge if it needed to, and it wouldn't matter to me.
And you get some benefit by using 220 rather than 110.
Yeah, 220 is certainly much faster than 110, and not just twice as fast, because in addition to the 110 volts versus 220 volts, the 220 circuits also have more amps. So they're usually 4 or 5 times, or actually much more than that if I do the math. Off of a normal 110 outlet, you can usually get a meager 4 or 5 miles per hour of charge. So if you plug it in overnight, you might get 50 miles or 60 miles or something. Not much charge at all. But on a 220, the 220 I have in my garage, I get about 30 miles to an hour of charge. So if I had it plugged in for 4 hours, I'd get 120 miles of range, roughly. So anyhow, so that's the way I usually do it. To plug it in when you get home, and then you don't even have to worry about how long it's charging. In the morning, you've got a full tank of gas, and the Tesla will go 265 miles on one charge. So the only time you ever really have to worry about charging it is if you're going more than 260 miles in one day. And that doesn't happen often for me, but it happens every once in a while, and especially when I'm driving to Denver. So whenever you're driving long distances, what you look for are the Tesla superchargers. Tesla superchargers are located all along major highways now. They're building more of them every day, and they're located at relatively convenient locations, usually near a mall or restaurants or something like that, and they're free to use for Tesla cars. You pull in, plug in. There's no credit card or card swipe or anything else. You just plug it straight into your Tesla, and they're free to use. And they're very, very fast. You can get about 150 miles of range in 20 minutes.
Wow.
So, oh yes, I tell you, which is a huge difference, which is why they're superchargers as opposed to your normal meager 220 charges.
Can you put one of those in your home eventually?
Maybe one day. They're not for sale. You can't buy a supercharger. They're only built and owned by Tesla right now. I can imagine what they would probably cost. And the other matter would be, how would you get that much power actually pumped into your house? Because in a supercharger, when I plug it in, I get about 300 volts at 300 amps, which is a heck of a lot of power.
Odd that you mentioned that, because I think we in the second hour we're going to have news stories, and there's actually one from Tesla where they're going to have like a module that you can put into your garage, and they're going to have like specifications, and you're going to have a professional come in and wire it for you. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a supercharger, but it's definitely something that charges much, much faster than your ordinary plug.
Well, and I wonder, there's a lot of speculation that Tesla has a big announcement that's scheduled on April 30th. Elon Musk tweeted out about that a couple of days ago. So coming up here at the end of the month, there's a big announcement of a new product line from Tesla that is not a car. And that's all he's officially said about it, that they're announcing this new product line that's not a car. And there's a lot of speculation that it's going to be a battery for in your home. Especially for people who have renewable power. If you have a wind turbine or solar panels, that the power can go into this battery, serve as a backup, but also serve for nighttime use, so you wouldn't have to be using the grid as much, which would be awesome in a lot of ways, not only on a very micro scale, but even on a macro scale. If you imagine lots of houses that had their own kind of buffer there for energy, yeah, that could work really well for helping the grid as far as brownouts go and peak times and all that kind of thing. And since they're building the Gigafactory, where they're going to be making more lithium-ion batteries than all of the other lithium-ion battery factories in the world combined, there's some speculation that they may have the capacity to be able to do that. So there's a lot of people who suspect that that's what they're going to be announcing, which may be what you're reading into, or maybe that's a different thing entirely. I don't know.
No, you actually hit the nail on the head. It's definitely the home battery thing. So we're going to talk
they haven't officially announced that, but that's certainly the speculation. In fact, and then Elon, I'll have to go to his Twitter here, and I'll post it in the chat room. But Elon Musk's Twitter page here, and he posted yesterday, he of course is also on the board of directors for Solar City, who makes and installs solar panels. And he posted yesterday saying Solar City just hit a new daily energy record of 5 gigawatt hours just 2 weeks after reaching 4 gigawatt hours. And then a minute later he posted saying, with all that solar energy being generated, it almost feels like something is needed to complete the picture. ... So they haven't officially announced it, but I mean, come on, it's not so subtle hints.
So in other words, when you buy solar cells, let's say for your home, part of the cost is the batteries that you have to buy for it, and you're saying he's going to supply the batteries for your solar cells, or alternative,
Yeah.
or will it work?
I suspect so, and it's hard to say if they're going to start it as a home project only, or if they're going to do it commercially for power companies or utility companies. And you don't have to have batteries. I have 46 panels on my roof, solar panels on my roof, but I don't have any batteries. So what happens is during the day, it generates a lot more electricity than I can use, so it goes back out to the grid, and the power company pays me a little bit back for generating that electricity. And then at night, I'm not generating any electricity, so I'm buying it back from the power company at a higher rate than I sell it to them for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but batteries are awfully expensive. And we'd looked at doing a battery-connected system, which the other big advantage of having battery-connected is then you have some redundancy. If the power goes out due to a storm or whatever, you may have, depending on how many batteries you have, you could have hours or days worth of power available.
Couldn't you take yourself completely off the grid then if you had the batteries?
Yeah, if you had enough solar panels and enough batteries, you certainly could take yourself completely off the grid. I think for most people, it would probably be more of a redundancy and a cut back on the grid use. You probably still want to be connected to the grid just so that if you had a week worth of cloudy days, you wouldn't have to turn off the computer. But but I think it would make you a lot less reliant on the grid and could reduce your power bill a great deal.
Are solar panels that inefficient that I mean when because even though it's cloudy there's still light coming down. I mean you can get a sunburn from on a cloudy
especially
day.
Me.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got very white skin. Yes, they're very sensitive to it. If it's not in direct sunlight, they don't generate much electricity. If you have a somewhat cloudy day, they'll still generate some, but it's a huge difference than having a clear day.
Is that just because they're inefficient and they just need to make more?
Yeah, it's just I don't know the details of exactly why that is. And for example, depending on how you have them wired up, if you have them wired up in a series, a lot of solar panels are now installed where each one has their own microinverter. So each solar panel generates DC and then puts it into a microinverter that changes it to AC and then puts that into your panel. That's the way a lot of them are done today. The traditional and cheaper way of doing it is to have one inverter. So you have a series of solar panels connected together that go to one inverter that changes it all to AC. But there's a lot of disadvantages to that, and one of them is that if you had an array of 10 solar panels and one of them was shaded a little bit by a tree, if they're in a series, instead of losing 10% of the power as you would expect, you lose something like 50% of the power. Wow. It really is a dramatic difference. So anyhow, that's neither here nor there. But
I mean, solar panels they're inefficient. I think even like the good ones nowadays, I want to say like 5 to 7%, but I've looked up what the conversion is right nowadays. But I mean, just like you said, shade and then dust and dirt and bird poop and birds themselves. I mean, every little thing like. It's a nice dream to have your whole house run on solar power, but stuff gets in the way. That's why they have the huge solar farm out there, and they spend every day cleaning a new section of solar cells. Even in perfect conditions, it's not a perfect system.
Yeah, and it probably depends a lot on your geography and the environment around you. We haven't had any trouble with solar. We have solar panels here and also in the office, and we haven't had to do any cleaning because the rain does a pretty good job of rinsing them off around here. But if you're in a dusty area, I could see where that would be a difference. The one thing that we do have an issue with here is we're in Pennsylvania, and we get a fair amount of snow. And the snow will pile up there, but usually within about a day or so, it'll slide off, because that's the other thing, is a lot of dirt and stuff will slide off because it's a glass surface there. It's not like there's a lot of resistance. Resistance, a lot of friction. So it usually slides off pretty easily. But with the snow, it's a little bit scary because kind of like a metal roof, you get 4 or 5 inches of snow there, and then it'll all slide off all at once. So it's a little bit of a hazard to those underneath the roof. But as far as the solar panels go, they start generating electricity pretty quick then.
What don't they have heaters for solar panels? So I know they make heaters for the DirecTV satellite dishes, and so you have a satellite dish, the snow will go on, but if you have the heated dish, the snow won't stay on it. You would think they would have a heater for solar panels.
I don't think it's necessary. I think that with them being black and absorbing so much light already, they're kind of their own heaters. I think usually the day or the day after we get a big snow, all the snow slides off right away anyway. And I suspect it's just because it's absorbing all of that energy. And they get pretty warm as it is just from absorbing the sun's light.
That's not the case with satellite dishes, I know.
They're not quite as reflective, I think.
No, exactly. And the snow can really, really mess things up.
Even in Florida, huh?
No, not in Florida, but in Carolina, where it snows. We had some heavy snow, and we lost our TV and for quite a for a couple of days until the snow melted.
We couldn't stay up to date.
Uh-oh.
What happened? We couldn't stay up to date. What, Ben?
I think he just got snow on a satellite dish.
Yeah, we just lost him.
It's a terrible freeze frame for him too. He was so enthusiastic. But yeah. So anyhow, and it's interesting.
Oh, there he is. Hey, we hear you. Okay, there you are.
Oh, there you are.
We lost you, man.
He went outside and
go
brushed the
ahead.
snow off a satellite dish.
So you
I
were.
was just Yeah, I was going to say the other thing as far as renewable energy and all of that goes is one of the criticisms a lot of people give me about the electric cars. They say, well, where do you think that power is coming from? Because around here, a lot of it is coal. Pennsylvania's not real good as far as renewable energy goes. We do have a lot of wind turbines that they're installing out near Breezewood, Pennsylvania, but most of our electric is coal. Then second is nuclear. And they're saying, well, is it that much cleaner if your power is coming from coal anyway? And of course, I can laugh and say, well, I've got 96 panels at the office and 46 panels here at home. But even if I didn't, even if it was 100% coal, and nowhere in the U.S. is it 100%, even in West Virginia, even if it were 100%, it's still cleaner to do it that way, generated at a big factory that can be much more efficient than millions of tiny little engines running in a mobile vehicle. So you get efficiencies of scale and that sort of thing, and also efficiencies of transmission. It's much more efficient to be able to transmit that electricity over lines than it is to get the gas and refine it and then put it in oil tanker trucks and drive it all around the world and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different efficiencies there that people don't realize. And the thing that gets me most excited, I think, about it is the flexibility of the fuel. That with an electric car, whether it's Tesla or anything else, you can get the fuel from wind turbines or solar or nuclear or hydro or anything else, or natural gas or coal. But with gas cars, it's pretty much just got to come from oil, and that's becoming more and more difficult to get.
Okay. Where was I heard that the Teslas for emergency power they have little bicycle pedals?
No, there's a hamster wheel.
The hamster
You
wheel.
just have to, yeah, that's what it is.
So do the software updates actually push through to the hamster or just the computer?
Just the computer, I think. Yeah, sometimes it'll cause the hamster to get a little bit extra food dropped at him. That way, it runs a little faster. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of software updates, what do you think about the software update that they were talking about? We had this article I think last week sometime, where the next one I think for the Model S, they're going to have it so that on your own property, mind you, you'll be able to put in self-driving features.
Right. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So they're trying to get this autopilot, which a lot of people still aren't even familiar with, but that's kind of the step below it, so that whenever you're on the highway, you put it in cruise control and it's actually autopilot, and it'll steer the vehicle for you, keep it in the lane, make sure you don't hit the car in front of you, read the speed limit signs and slow down or speed up based on that. If you want to switch lanes, you just hit your turn signal, and if it's safe, it'll check and make sure it's safe and switch lanes and does all that self-driving for you, which would be awesome when you're driving to Denver and back. Let me tell you, driving through Kansas is boring as heck, and having self-driving would have been amazing. So that's something they're working on right now, and it's going to be released in the next update. And yes, Ben is exactly right. The other thing that Elon has promised is within your own property, for legal reasons, you can actually have it drive on its own. And the examples they give is having it open the garage door by itself and pull into your garage by itself and close the garage door. And you can get out at the front door and have it do that. And then when you're ready to go in the morning, you can say, all right, I'm leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead and open the garage door and pull out and wait for me out front. And at 8 o'clock it'll do that. It'll open the garage door, it'll pull out, it'll drive around, it'll be waiting out front for you to get in.
You must be really jazzed about that because about 3 months.
That's pretty cool. I'm not sure when they're going to have that part of it done. I think that the on-highway self-driving they'll probably have done probably in 6 months would be my guess, maybe less, but I always like to, with Tesla, they sometimes like to overpromise and underdeliver on time schedules. So I would guess probably 6 months for that, and I don't know, maybe a little bit longer for the on-property self-driving.
But everyone over at Tesla, they're all dreamers. They're dreamers.
Yeah, they are. Well, and you need that. You need visionaries like that. There was the person who wrote the biography for Steve Jobs was just in the news recently because he was saying that he thinks Elon Musk is the next big visionary, and I think he's right.
Do you think? But all these updates are they pushed to you completely free, or you have to pay for them, or what?
Yeah, they're completely free and done wirelessly. Either through the car has its own cellular internet connection, so it'll download it that way, or if whenever I'm at home, I have it connect to my wireless just so it's a little faster, and I'll get it that way. But yeah, they're free. And it's for the life of the car. They'll continue to have new updates.
That is very, very cool.
That's such a basic concept when you look at computers, and cars are basically big computers now, to have software updates. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But it makes so much sense. You got this big touchscreen computer there. Everything's done through the touchscreen, so they can update the interface. That's the other thing they're talking about. Not this upcoming update that's coming this week, but their next major update, the 7.0 update, is going to have a new interface update. It's going to have a refreshed interface, which people are excited about.
It's going to be like having a new car.
It is. It really is. And it's little things that they add that's kind of exciting. Like in the last update a couple of months ago, they added a couple little things that had me excited. Like whenever you put the car in reverse, of course, as you would expect, it pops up with a backup camera. But originally, that's all it did. It didn't have those lines. And, a lot of cars now have the little lines that indicate, that turn and indicate where your car is going to be as you back up. And the Tesla didn't have that originally. So they added that in a software update. So when I bought the car, it didn't have that, and then a couple months later, now I have that. And then another thing was the calendar. So the car actually synchronizes with the calendar in my phone, and if I have an address in a calendar item, I can just touch it on the screen, and it'll automatically put that address in the GPS and navigate me to that address. And it's just little things like that. They just keep adding features, and it's exciting.
Now, do they notify you? You get when an update goes, you get a computer readout on your screen or in the car saying we've added the following things and
yes. Yeah, release notes. Well, what will happen first is you'll get a message on. Of course, there's an app for Android and for Apple devices that you can control the car using your app, and so there'll be a notice that'll pop up on there that's saying there's a new update available for your car, and then also on the car's touchscreen there's a notice on there saying that there's an update available. Do you want to install it now? The downside to it is whenever you do install the new update, usually you can't drive the car for about an hour while it installs that update. So, I don't know if you've ever read the message that appears whenever you go to update the software on your phone, like iOS or Android OS.
I'll tell you wait, we got to wait. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the music.
And we'll read what that says when we come back. We're talking to Mike Cermak. He's talking about his Tesla here in the first hour of the Computer America Show. We've got a news tips pulled review from Marty Winston coming up as well. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Listening? This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Umatello. We're cautious about VoIP, having seen phone services that sacrifice call quality for price or international call savings. Analog landline call quality is excellent because the telco IP network is not the public internet. When we tried bundled cable VoIP, also a closed IP network, it also had good quality and a nicely complete feature package. We first encountered UMA several years ago when we quietly sampled their call quality at the time, and yes, it sounded like VoIP. Not as bad as the magical products, but recognizably less than top tier, in part because it has to use the public internet. A bit over a year ago, they worked to exorcise demons from their system and improve call quality, so after grilling a product manager at CES, we thought it fair to give them another shot. They sent their Tello VoIP interface with Ethernet in and analog phone out. Our very first tests had artifacts in the audio, sounded like frame drops. But after a call to their support number and some bandwidth and stability tweaks on their end, the quality turned excellent. With the UMA Tello, you buy the product, then pay only taxes and fees, meaning we have the service including unlimited US and Canada calling for less than $4 a month. Bottom line, once you own an UMA Tello, their service can offer really nice call quality and a good package of extras for less money than your kid's allowance. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Yeah, it's like 34 minutes past or something like that, and I'll look at the clock. Mike Cermak finishes out the hour with us, and we're talking about Tesla and some of the software updates. We're just getting to the part where, even though any other car you can buy, if you buy a Ford F-150, if you buy a Cadillac, if you buy whatever it is, usually whatever car you drive off the lot with, that's the car you're going to own for the next 5 to 10 years or however long you keep your cars. Mm-hmm. But with Tesla, not like they're going to push out a software update that's going to give you a new cup holder, but at the same time, they're going to add features left and right.
It's funny, a lot of people ask me what I least like about it or what my biggest complaint is about it, and I usually say cup holders. There is a dramatic lack of cup holders in the Tesla Model S. There are 2, and they're in terrible locations, right where you would want to put your elbow. Just bad design as far as that goes.
Now, why did they do that? Because they're so good at what it is that they do. Why would they?
Because they were designed by men.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's pretty accurate, actually. They went for a very minimalist style. Another complaint I often hear that really doesn't bother me too much is that there also aren't coat hooks, little hangers to be able to hang clothes in the back, and there also aren't the I don't know what the proper term is, the chute bars, that you can grab up there whenever someone drives a little too fast. Those aren't in there. It's a very clean. There's no pockets in the doors. It's a very clean, minimalist style. There's not a lot of extras in there, and I kind of like that. I like clean, minimalist design. But the cup holders are very small and hidden, and you can slide the armrest over them so you don't see that they're there, and then they function as an armrest. But while they're functioning as an armrest, there's no cup holders. So they now offer an upgrade that you can buy an extra cup holder thing that fits up in between the 2 front seats. But I just bought a little $8 thing on Amazon that works just as well. But that is kind of a disappointment. You pay that much money for a car and you have to buy cup holders. I think that they're going to fix that in the Model X and the SUV version that's coming up. One of the complaints I've heard a lot of people say is that the S was very much designed for men, and they say they're going to fix that a little bit with the X. And I don't know exactly what that means other than cup holders, how a car is designed for men versus women. I really don't know exactly what that means.
Now,
the styling, maybe, I don't know.
Now, I know you originally were slated to get the X, and then you decided to go for the S. When the X comes out, are you going to trade your S in for an X? Or?
I ask myself that every day, Craig, and that's not too much of an exaggeration. I don't know. I don't know. I bought it with the plan of doing that, of selling the S and buying the X.
Yeah.
I like having the extra room of an SUV. I like having the 4-wheel drive. My car is only rear-wheel drive, the S.
And the holders.
They make a 4-wheel drive S now, but they didn't when I bought mine.
And the cup holders.
And the cup holders, I suspect they'll have more cup holders in the X. But I don't know. And the other thing is that my car was made before this autopilot hardware was available.
Right.
So mine won't get all the autopilot features. So I probably will upgrade, but I'm not as eager as I thought I would be. I'm really enjoying this one, and it has a lot more storage than I anticipated with it, having the frunk, the front trunk in addition to the rear trunk, and it's massive amount of storage. A guy was giving me a hard time about 2 months after I bought the car. I was driving to a job site, and I had to bring a ladder with me. So I folded down the back seat, and I brought a ladder with me. And this guy was giving me a hard time, saying, "What the heck are you doing taking a ladder in that car? Like, this is my car. This is what I drive every day. If I need a ladder, it's going to go in this car. Like, what are you talking about?" It's not. I didn't buy it just to look pretty and keep it shiny in the garage. I bought it to drive every day.
And the X though has those gull wing kind of doors. So.
They do, yes. They have falcon wing doors, is what they call them, which essentially are gull wing doors, but with an extra hinge in them, so that they're actually functional in a parking lot.
Yeah. So there you go.
And I'm excited about that as well. I think that would be kind of nice, especially with the little one in the back seat, in a car seat. I think it'll get a little easier getting him in and out.
Do they offer a trade-in, or do you have to sell your car out outright?
They do offer a trade-in, and I suspect that they'll be doing even more of that as time goes on. They are going to start a certified used kind of sell, from what I understand. But you know how those things go. You can usually sell it for more yourself than what they'll give you for it. So we shall see.
You have anybody lined up for your car?
Well, are you signing up? I can. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, it's obviously you sound very happy.
I can't tell you how. And there was just another article released this week that for the second year in the row, Tesla owners are most satisfied with their vehicles of all of those surveyed. And there's no surprise to it. I mean, it's just excellent. It's great customer service. It's a great experience. They've rethought a lot of it, and the software update idea alone is just critical. And I don't think Tesla's going to be alone in that for long. I think that other car manufacturers are going to get on not only the electric vehicle thing, because that's obviously the future, if you ask me, but also the fact that it's just a computer and that they should be doing this sort of thing where they can do software updates and be a little bit more.
Now, what about accessories? I thought you were thinking about buying something where you can when you park your car, it just automatically connects up to the power source, so you don't even have to do anything.
Yeah, they don't offer anything like that just yet for the Tesla. There's been some discussion. There are wireless chargers that you can get for some cars, like the Nissan Leaf and one of the BMW electric cars. There's a third-party seller for a couple $1,000s that will sell you a wireless charger, which is the convenience of you pull into the garage and you're charging. You don't have to plug anything in, which honestly isn't that much effort. You just get into the habit of doing it. I pull into the car, I get out, the cord is hanging right there, I just plug it in, and it takes less than 3 seconds to do it. And also there's an app that if you want to be reminded every night, I have it set up that at 10 o'clock at night it checks to see if it's plugged in, and if it's not plugged in it sends me a message to let me know. And I don't really need to plug in every night, but that way you don't forget on a critical night. So wireless charging was kind of cool, but Elon says that he's not interested in the wireless charging at this point because it's too inefficient. I think you lose something like 20 or 30% of your energy efficiency by transmitting it wirelessly. And he thought that that's just not an acceptable amount of energy loss, that you're losing a lot of the efficiency that way.
There's some sort of mechanical device where when you drive over it, it springs up and it starts charging.
That would make a lot of sense. I haven't seen that yet, but what he has talked about having some kind of a snake cable that would automatically come up and plug into the existing charge port. And I would think that it would make a lot more sense to do what you're describing, where you would pull up and it would somehow connect in physically from the ground. I would think it would be a lot easier to engineer that than some kind of snaking contraption that would plug in on its own. Yeah. But what do I know about electrical engineering?
Okay. All right. Well, so let's talk about your Google Nexus 6 with Lollipop.
Yes, I'm enjoying it a great deal. So what happened, the cause of this is I broke my last phone. I had a Galaxy Nexus S4, which I enjoyed. It was a good phone, and it stopped working one day. I was actually walking around, and I felt it vibrate in my pocket, and I picked it up, and it showed the splash screen, the Nexus splash screen. I thought, the Galaxy splash screen. I thought, that's weird, and then it went black, and then that was the end of it. It never did anything again. And so I did a little bit of research, and I ended up getting the Nexus 6. And it is a big phone for those who are watching the live video. I mean, it is the size of my hand, and I have relatively big hands. So it is a big phone and just barely fits in my pocket.
Is it bigger than the iPhone 6 Plus?
No, I think it is. I think it is bigger than the iPhone 6 Plus. If you look at them side by side, I think the Nexus 6 is slightly bigger, but just slightly. I mean, almost identical. And but it's the biggest thing, of course, is Lollipop, and I'm really enjoying Lollipop. It's a new interface for Google Chrome, and if you haven't seen it demonstrated, certainly go on to YouTube and see it, because I won't be able to demonstrate it well on here. But it's much more fluid. The animations are much smoother. The icons, of course, it's an all-new flat interface, which most devices are going to now, flat icons instead of having shadows and 3Ds and all that sort of thing. That's one of the things that's also anticipated in the new Tesla software, is flat interface. It works really well. It has the integrated OK Google thing, so that, oops, it just heard me say that. So that no matter where you are, in the device, no matter what you're doing, you can say it and it'll hear you and trigger that. It has a feature that I kind of liked, called ambient display. And it wakes the screen whenever you pick up the device or receive a notification. So if the device is sitting on my desk and I pick it up, it'll automatically turn on the screen, just sensing that I have picked it up, which is remarkably, I don't know, it's kind of cool to have it interact and be aware of you in that way, instead of having to hunt for the power button and press that. The trouble is that so far I found that uses a lot more battery than having it off. So I've had to actually turn that feature off just to be able to get a day's worth of charge out of the battery.
There's a trade-off, in other words, for convenience, you pay for it in battery power.
That's right. Well, and the other thing is, with this huge resolution screen and this gigantic, LCD screen on it, it just uses a ton of power. So turning off some features like that certainly makes a difference. But overall, I've been pretty happy with it. I need to play with it a little more. I've only had it for a couple of days, really. And one thing I really do like with it is I use Google Voice, and Google Voice, can integrate with Android phones, so that whenever you're dialing out, it goes from your Google Voice number. And it's much more integrated in Lollipop than it's been in past versions of Google. And I'm very happy to see that. I was kind of worried that they would go the other way, because Google Voice isn't really that popular in Google anymore. It's almost as if it's not being developed anymore. They've kind of pushed it all into Hangouts and forgotten about Google Voice. And so I was really pleased to see that it works, not only that it does work in Lollipop, but it's really well integrated. And whenever you're placing a call, it uses a normal dialer. You don't have to use a Google Voice dialer. It shows within the dialer it's dialing through Google Voice. It works for, and there's Google Caller ID now on it in Lollipop. So whenever I'm calling someone or someone calls me, it's, for example, if Craig calls me, it'll show Computer America or whatever his caller ID is, even though it's a cell phone, which, a lot of times it'll just show you the city or state or whatever. But with Google Lollipop, it'll actually tell you who it is that's calling, which is really quite useful.
And that's actually pretty cool, because right now I know when I'm using my iPhone, I have the iPhone, if someone calls from a cell phone, if they're one of my contacts in my phone, then I'll see who it is. It'll display that. But if it's not, then you just get the city and state and
right,
the number, and that's it.
And you start to learn where people are from, so you know who it is.
Yeah. But you're saying with this, you could actually see the name of the person?
That's right. Yep. Or the name of the business.
And that's a function of what again?
Of Lollipop. Yeah, the new version of Android.
Are they? So what I'm inferring from that is that it's not that it can't be done. It's that the cell phone companies that you're using aren't providing that information.
Right. That's correct. They're not. So I think what's happening is Google is getting the phone number from the cell provider as it comes in, and then looks it up within their own database.
Okay. Because that is annoying. I mean, of course, I remember the days before caller ID. Yes, those were.
Wait. Did you say the fact that you don't know everyone on planet Earth is annoying? That's the vibe I got. It's like I hate it when I don't know everyone. It's so annoying.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
And speaking of wireless charging, that is one thing the Nexus 6 has as well, is the QI wireless charging. And so I've got a couple of those wireless chargers now next to my bed and at my office at work, that I just lay it down on top of that pad, and it wirelessly charges the phone.
How do you like
that's
that?
kind of cool. What's that?
How do you like that?
I do like it. I mean, there's nothing not to like. It's more convenient. It's just, again, it's the whole 3 seconds to plug it in thing. But with USB wires, it's always a hassle because you have to put them in the right way, at least until USB 3 comes out.
Yeah.
It's not like the Lightning connector in an Apple where you can put it in upside down and there is no upside down.
I have the docking station, so I just put it in the docking station and it's done. So.
Yep. Sure. Yeah, I've enjoyed that. It reminds me, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things you may remember I used to love and still love the Palm WebOS. Ever since I first saw WebOS back at CES, thanks to you, you got me into their press conference, and loved Palm WebOS and still speak very highly of it. It was killed later. HP bought Palm, and Palm was just a little too slow to come to market with it. But in any event, there's a lot of things about the Nexus 6 that reminds me of the Palm phone that I loved oh so much, including the wireless charging. Even 5 or 7 years ago, whenever the WebOS came out, that one had wireless charging. It wasn't QI compatible, but it was their own wireless charging. And the other thing is even the multitasking. This feels very much like, let me bring up my camera so I can try and see.
Yeah.
So it feels very much like the WebOS, where you can flip through the different cards that are open and slide them across to close them. And this is the way multitasking ought to be. It just makes it much easier to move around through the device and through other programs because.
Now on the iOS, you can have several things open, and then you scroll through them and you can flick the ones that you don't want,
Exactly. Yeah, and they added that. When was that? iOS? I forget what version it was. But yeah, in the not too distant past. And I said the same thing when it came out. I was like, oh, it looks like Palm. Palm had it figured out before they did. And it was funny because it was exactly the same gesture. Here's my iPad to show people what you're talking about. And it's same things, horizontal instead, but same idea. And if you're done with a program, you just swipe it away, and it goes away. And it's exactly the same gesture and everything. Not that there's anything creative about it, but that's what you would do when you're done with something, just swipe it away. But it's just so funny to me that 5 or 7 years ago, whenever WebOS came out, these things already existed, and now it's a big deal that they're finally coming to market on every other device.
Well, exactly.
Anyhow.
Now you've only had it for a couple of months, and are you still don't feel you're expert at using it yet?
What the phone?
Yeah.
I've only had the phone actually for a couple of days. For a couple of months, but I've only had it for a couple of days, and I'm certainly not an expert at it. There's still things I'm trying to figure out how to do on it. But I'm enjoying it. I really do. Oh, and the other nice thing with Lollipop is that it has multiple users. So you can actually go in here and I can log out of my profile and log into a profile for my son, for example. I have done that, which is kind of nice. So then he can go in and he can play his games, and I don't have to worry about him going in and deleting emails or making phone calls or doing anything else. I can lock him into his profile. And then whenever I get back, I can log out of his and log into mine.
We don't have that. There are no profiles on the Apple.
Yeah, not yet. I suspect that will come, but not yet. And there weren't in Android either until Lollipop, so that's very recent.
Now, what is it? Does Samsung also have that ability to you can make a little window or something, and you can run 2 apps at the same time?
Samsung does have that. If you use their launcher, they allow you to do some multitasking with that. My experience hasn't been that great with it. It's the performance and battery life when you do that is not so great. This phone using Lollipop actually is a Motorola Nexus 6. The Google Nexus 6 is made by Motorola this time. In past, the Nexus has been made by different manufacturers, but this time it's Motorola. And as far as I know, it doesn't have that live, 2-frame thing available in it. There may be apps you can download, especially if you root it. There's probably apps you can get to do that. But I've never found that so useful on a really small screen. But I'm sure there's people who would disagree with me.
I wondered why it reminded me of a brick. So.
Well, before we run out of time, I want to mention to you I did come prepared with a quiz.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we do that every month. So Ben and I, what's the score so far? Who's ahead?
I don't think you want to know. Ben. Ben is definitely ahead, and I will be able to tell you by how much in a moment here. It looks like we've got 6 wins for Ben and 2 for Craig, according to my count.
All right, so that's not just ahead.
Oh, boom.
Well, But I will point out that, let me sort these. Well, not so much. I was going to say Ben won the first 4, but then it's been every other one since then. So Ben won the first 4, and then it was Craig, Ben, Craig, Ben. So this one should be Craig if we're going to continue the pattern.
Okay, let's do it.
So no pressure, but
No pressure.
but I expect you to win.
Okay.
So today's quiz it's April Fool, and this of course is based around April Fool's Day. In case you weren't aware, today is April Fool's Day. And April Fool, this is our first question, and I suppose since Ben won last time, it's going to go to Ben for the answer first. April Fool is the code name for the spy who allegedly played a key role in providing false information to Saddam Hussein, thus allowing coalition forces to take Baghdad in what year? So did you get that? April Fool was the code name of a spy who provided some false information to Saddam Hussein, which allowed us to take Baghdad in what year?
Oh man, is this like a post 9/11 or like a Iraq? Oh man, I have no idea. I'm gonna say in 2004.
And Craig?
I would say
Craig, you lived through this. You have a better memory. Don't just go off mine.
No, wait a minute, Ben. 2004? You didn't live through that?
I did, but I don't remember it. It was all a blur. I was too much Monster and candy. Nothing stuck. Nothing stuck.
And that's different from now. How?
Not at all, but still.
I'd say 2003.
2003 is exactly right. Well done, Craig. Although, Ben, you were very, very close. I'm kind of impressed at how close you were there.
Me too.
There was a dark comedy, a film called April Fool's Day, back in 1986, and it had an estimated budget of $5 million. It was remade in 2008 and received negative reviews from critics and fans alike. What was the budget of the 2008 film? So this is going to go to Craig. Dark comedy film called April Fool's Day. In 1986, it had a budget of $5 million. Then they remade it in 2008, and it was terrible. What was the budget for the 2008 film?
Well, budgets usually get increase rather than decrease. So that one was 5. So I would say maybe 10 million.
And Ben?
Are you kidding me? A flop worthy of notation in our quizzes? Easily a budget of $25 million.
I like the way you think. Surprisingly, the 2008 film also had a budget of $5 million, which gives Craig the point on that one, which perhaps is why the 2008 film was such a flop.
Uh-huh.
All right, so it's Craig with 2 points, Ben with 0. We still got 5 questions left to go. Our question number 3. Gmail was launched on April 1st, 2004. Some people thought it was an April Fool's Day joke.
I remember that.
In 2012, Google announced that it had reached how many million users on Gmail? They haven't given us any numbers since then, but in 2012, Google announced that they had reached how many million users on Gmail?
I would say 50 million.
And Ben?
Unique users, I mean, I personally have probably about 3 to 4 Gmail accounts, so assuming everyone has more than one, I'm going to go with 600 million.
Good guesses. The correct answer is 425 million, which puts Ben a little closer.
Yeah. All right. Ben's got it.
425 million users.
Wow.
I'm just saying though, it's like not all those are unique because, like I said, myself, I have 3 to 4. I'm sure most people have at least 2.
And the other thing they did clarify that I didn't mention in the question is that they said they were active monthly users. So within a month, they logged in at least once. There's probably people who sign up and never come back, but those are actually active users as of 2012.
Okay.
All right, so the score is 2 for Craig and 1 for Ben. And our number 4 question is, the research paper, The Origin of Chemical Elements, was published on April 1st, 1948, and would eventually become known as the Big Bang Theory. How many episodes have there been of the Big Bang Theory TV show? And this is to Ben.
Let's see. I think they're on like season, I want to say like 8 or 9 by now. Each season has about 20. Let's see. When I downloaded them completely legally, let's just say that.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah. Each one had about 20 something like that. So I'm going to say They have to be over there 170, 180, almost to 200. 180, just for a number, 180.
All right, and Craig?
I'm not a fan of the Big Bang Theory. I don't really watch it, but
I'm not a fan of you either.
It is an excellent show. I'm going to say that right now, but I won't deduct a point for you.
I haven't watched it yet. So Ben said 180 episodes.
He did.
I thought that typically they have 13 episodes per season or something. So, I'm probably, and if there's 6 seasons, I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go about 100, 180. I'm going to go 170.
170. Ooh, the correct answer is 177.
Oh!
So that gives Ben the point. There's been 8 seasons and 177 episodes to date.
Well, can we just take a moment here, Craig? Your math did not line up at all. Like you gave us there's usually 13 and there's about 6, I'd say. So 170. Like the math didn't follow. So you just took my number and subtracted.
He called you out on that, but at least he's not going just one under. At least he didn't say 179.
Yeah, he would have won.
0.9.
That's right. I would have.
Yes, but I'm impressed that both of you were very darn close on the number there. So that evens up the score. We're now 2-2.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. They may be known for their lax drug policies, but on April 1st, 2001, the Netherlands became the first country to legalize same-sex marriage. On April 1st, 2002, they legalized euthanasia. What is the population of the Netherlands? And this is to Ben.
Well, with all that gay marriage and euthanasia going on,
interesting way to look at it. I like the way you think.
It has to be lower than it was before those dates. So I'm going to say this was Norway, you said?
The Netherlands.
Netherlands. I'm going to say they're probably running a strong 17 million with healthy cardio system. So yes.
Wow. And I'm going to go 17,000,001.
Are we going to leave that as a cliffhanger?
Yeah, we're going to leave that as a cliffhanger, and we'll come back in the next hour, and then so stay with us, okay?
Very good.
You listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Mike Cermak is here with us. He's going to stay a little bit for the next hour on April Fool's Day. We'll be right back in a few moments. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And Mike Cermak is here with us. We left on a cliffhanger. He was asking Ben the population of the Netherlands, and Ben said 17 million, and I came back and said 17,000,001.
What a good player you are. The correct answer is 16.9 million.
Oh, so Ben wins.
Ben wins that one. We've got 2 questions.
I swear I do not keep track of world populations. I don't look them up.
I just want to say, with the noted exception of the budget of the April Fool's Day movie, you guys have been darn close on almost every one of these.
Yes.
I mean,
what you can do with Google.
Oh dear. So Ben gets that point. Our score is 2 for Craig, 3 for Ben, and we've got 2 questions left.
All right, go for it.
But honestly, I gotta say, sadly, I think this is prime example of so much information bombarding a person that some of it sticks way back there in the brain somewhere. But I don't know how I know this.
And it's a little sad that you do.
Yeah.
No, this is excellent. I'm very impressed by your answers. If I were to be on the other side of this quiz, I would not be doing nearly as well. So all the credit in the world to both of you. All right, so we've got to see what we're going to do here. We've got 2 for Craig, 3 for Ben. We've got 2 questions remaining. Question number 6. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne formed Apple Computers on April 1st, 1976. Later, Wayne sold his 10% share for how much? And this is going to go to Ben. So, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne formed Apple Computers on April 1st, 1976. How much did Wayne sell his 10% share for?
He must be kicking himself.
The fact that I have heard of the Woz and Steve Jobs and not of this Wayne character means that he must have sold out way before he probably should have.
Hindsight's 2020.
I'm going to say he sold out for what at the time seemed a respectable grab your money and run $10,000.
And Craig?
Well, it's either above or below.
It may not be. It may be exactly.
Yeah, I'll go to 10,001.
Well, you'll be unhappy to hear he sold his 10% for $800.
Oh my God!
And he may be even more unhappy than what you are.
Yeah, I would not.
Like I knew it had to be some sort of grab your money and run situation where he didn't think it was going anywhere and he was just looking for the quick payout. So I knew it was going to be low, but I was thinking Apple multi-billion-dollar, like $700 billion, 10,000 isn't a lot, but 800, ow.
How upset would you be sitting there now? I mean, there's no way he could have known. It could have, the company could have died years ago. But how upset would you be?
Well, how much shares did he have? I mean, what would it have been worth today?
10% of the company he owned. 10%.
Oh my gosh, for 800.
So what is Apple worth today?
700 billion, I think, was like the last their market,
their market
value.
cap.
I have a question for you. Is this Wayne guy still alive?
I believe he is. Yes.
I mean,
so 765 billion is what I'm seeing most recently for their market cap. So that would mean his shares would only be worth 76 billion. 76 billion.
That's like Bill Gates. That's Bill Gates.
The worst decision that you could have made as a human being.
But there's obviously no way anyone could have ever predicted that. But
no, I mean,
and at the end of the day, it's just money. If he's happy.
$800, he could have,
Maybe he invested in Starbucks and he's rich anyways.
That's true. Maybe so. You never know. We don't want to jump to conclusions, but we feel for you, Wayne.
We need to do. We need to go to Google and do a little research and say where is he today and what happened.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
All right, Ben, you Google that. What was his last name? Wayne what?
I think if I touch the keyboard right now, I get accused of cheating and I get kicked out of the contest. So
Ronald
I'm just gonna sit
Wayne, he is still alive, age 80, born in Cleveland, Ohio, and he co-founded Apple Computer, now Apple Inc., with Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, providing administrative oversight for the new venture. He soon, however, sold his shares of the new company for $800 and later accepted an additional $1,500 to forfeit any claims against Apple. So, post-Apple. After leaving Apple, Wayne resisted Jobs' attempts to get him to return, remaining at Atari until 1978, where he joined the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and later an electronics company in California. Wayne, now retired and living a quiet lifestyle in Nevada, in a Nevada mobile home park.
Oh my gosh.
Selling stamps and rare coins, has never owned an Apple product until 2011 when he was given an Apple iPad 2. Yes, he ran a stamp shop in California for a short time in the late 1970s.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Yeah.
Yes. So how about that?
Yeah, that's a sad story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and leave that cheery note.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back to the cheerful score of 2 for Craig and 4 for Ben, with one question remaining. And as always, this question is worth 3 points. And so a popular meme is circulating around social media today that includes a picture of Mr. T with the phrase, "It's April, fools." How old is Mr. T? We'll go to Ben.
Oh man, he has been a cultural icon since the 70s, I want to say, whenever the A-Team came out. So, and he was burly, Mr. Young, late 20, early 30. I'm going to say he's probably a good at this point, and this may sound racist, but it's completely not. Black don't crack. I'm gonna say he's a solid 65.
I think he's older. I'm gonna go 66, but I think he's a lot older.
Well, that pretty much solidifies our answers. The correct answer was 62.
Oh my God!
He is only 62.
Well.
Which gives Ben the point. So the score today would be 5 for Ben and 2 for Craig.
I started out.
I pity the Craig, and by the way, that's 6 for Ben. I believe that point was 7 for Ben. That point was worth 3.
It doesn't really matter, Ben. He could have been 0, and you still would have won. Oh dear! But so our scores back for the since we've been doing the quiz. This was our quiz number 8. And that's 2 wins for Craig and 6 wins for Ben. Ben is doing very well.
All right, well, and you're doing very well too, Mike. Listen, thank you so much for being with us here and telling us the story about your Tesla and keeping us updated and what's happening with these electric cars. And certainly a pleasure having you here. And again, happy April Fool's Day to you. And we'll see you next month.
You got it. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
Good night.
Good night. Okay. There it is. Mike Cermak from TechGuy.org. Here.
That's so weird how the audience didn't react at all when I won the competition. That's so strange.
Well, they'll react right now.
I know they're fawning over themselves for how right and smart and handsome and funny and good at cooking I am. It's crazy.
Well, again, welcome into hour 2 of the show. If you're just joining us, Jonathan says your education is paid off.
My college education. I went to college for barroom trivia. It was a very obscure degree, but I said, you know what, I can make this work. And look at me now.
And you have.
Look at me now.
Look at you now. Yes. Before we get started with the computer news, just a quick update. Yesterday we had Greg. I don't know his last name, but he is with the add-on chat people. And and he said, hey, guess what? We're just coming out of our alpha and starting our beta version of our add-on chat room. Add-on chat was the chat room that we used here at Computer America. And I was one of the things that I just couldn't take it anymore. It would use Java. It was a Java applet. It required the use to have Java installed, and it just kept crashing my system. It would actually bring the entire system down to its knees. It was just so bad, and we finally said, we have to find something else, and so we started with the IRC chat room. I think Charles Tendell actually started it for us. I gotta say it. And we've been using the IRC chat room. Although I have to say, when I'm using Chatzilla, I'm using one of the plugins, which is the client. It does make it nicer, but still, there were so many features that I really liked about add-on chat that just aren't here in the IRC chat room. But
Oh, don't tell me we're gonna. And add-on chat may have changed a lot of things. They've definitely changed architecture. Don't tell me we're just gonna run back to them as soon as they say something.
No. But anyway, I went there today, and Chris Dewar, who is the CEO of add-on chat, I said, "Hey, hi, how are you?" And I said, "Greg told us, what was happening," and he said, "Yes." He says, "We're just coming out of alpha. We're going to start a beta version," and he said that should go fairly quickly. They had actually started an HTML5 version and scrapped it. They just actually threw it out and had to start again because there were so many problems. But now this version is moving along. I got a little bit of a preview today to see it, and I said, "Look, when you get this up and running, let me know, and we'll have you back on the show and to talk about it because it's really it's one of the best chats I've ever seen." Except that it used Java. This version does not use Java. It uses HTML5, and that's it. No Flash, no Java, nothing. Just HTML5. And it was a dream. It was really nice to see. It was beautiful to look at. Even though it's an alpha, it performed wonderfully well. And so just a heads up that when he does get it up and running and it's all working fine, we are probably going to move back to add-on chat.
What?
And say, what? What do you mean, what?
That's a company decision that cannot be made unilaterally. We will have a discussion on this, sir.
Why would you not want to? I mean, it's full feature.
IRC has had 0 hiccups since we've been using it.
Yeah, well,
reliability is a big thing.
Yes, and
I believe wholeheartedly we should have add-on chat back on the show to talk about their product and what they've changed and what's different and what's new, but I don't know about just, as soon as they come back, putting them back on the website.
Well, you'll see it for yourself too, and then you let me know what you think. Okay, you'll obviously have the input for that.
At the very least, we need to discuss this with our webmaster. So
okay, you can do that too. Okay, all right. But from what I've seen so far, it looks really nice, and it looks really solid. And it has it's going to have more features than the original add-on chat too. So it's I think it's going to be really nice. Okay, well, that said, we're ready to. It's hour 2, and I think what we'll do is we'll get started and we'll do some computer news. Okay. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website is completely free. That works wonderfully. We suggest that you download all of the Slimware utilities that they have there, including their backup software. Why not? They're all free. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. And in this first story here, NVIDIA is in the news because they've begun working on a 500,000 square foot future campus. This according to Paul Lilly. 2 years ago, they unveiled plans to build a futuristic campus located across the street from where it is now. They started as a 3-person startup, and it's grown to over 9,000 employees, spread out over 40 sites, and evidently they feel we need to start working on a new centralized campus. They initially hoped to move in by July of this year, however, delayed the project so it could have more time to tinker with the design and play with pricing. It seems that NVIDIA has done those things to its satisfaction and has told the Silicon Valley Business Journal that crews will start working on the 36-acre site in the next month or 2. The GPU chip maker is one of several high-profile technology firms that are building new campuses. Obviously, Apple is working with its Apple Campus 2 in Cupertino. Samsung is about finished with its 10-story tower in San Jose. Facebook recently finished its Building 20, and it's continuing to expand. Google is trying to get approval for a campus in North Bayshore. What they didn't talk about is Tesla. That their campus is going to dwarf most all of these. In sticking with its original plan, NVIDIA will build its new campus in 2 phases, ultimately ending up with 2 buildings that look the same. The end result will be lots of office space, followed by labs and other spaces as well. So there you go, NVIDIA. I'm looking at a picture. It looks really nice, too. It looks like a giant graphics card.
Really?
From an airplane view, it could be a card. Yeah. Okay.
No, but it seems like a lot of companies out there between Tesla and Intel, NVIDIA, things like that. They're the demand for these kinds of technologies are increasing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now, just lately, we're getting these huge headquarters, offices, manufacturing plants. The Apple is, going to, or they're currently building their new headquarters. It looks like a giant donut spaceship, what have you.
Yes.
All these different companies, they're now really investing in manufacturing and their headquarters. It's really nice to see.
Yes, it is. It is nice to see. All right.
So next story. How about this? This is for everyone out there who thought that net neutrality was kind of done and over with just because they won the court case. Here's one where this is from Ars Technica. John Brodkin And judge rejects AT&T claim that FTC can't stop unlimited data throttling. AT&T can't escape the FTC's jurisdiction despite common carrier status. So a federal judge has rejected AT&T's claim that it can't be sued by the FTC, which is trying to put a stop to the carrier's throttling of unlimited data plans. The FTC sued AT&T in October of last year, saying the company deceived customers by offering unlimited data plans and then throttling speeds once the customer hit a certain usage threshold, such as 3 or 5 gigs. AT&T claimed in January that because it is a common carrier, it isn't subject to FTC jurisdiction. In a decision out of the U.S. District Court in Northern California, the judge there refused to dismiss the lawsuit. By the way, that is kind of what the lawsuit was about. They market it as unlimited, but really it's unlimited until you reach your limit. And then it's throttled like crazy. So it's true the FTC Act exempts common carriers from the Commission's oversight, but while AT&T is a common carrier for landline and mobile, the mobile data services at issue were not classified as common carrier at the time of the lawsuit. AT&T argued that it is exempt from FTC oversight even when it is providing services other than common carriage services. Sounds kind of fishy. So the FCC ultimately did reclassify mobile data as a common carrier service in February, a decision that takes effect 60 days after publication in the Federal Register, which hasn't happened yet. AT&T argued that this decision also strips the FTC of jurisdiction over AT&T, even for violations that occurred before the reclassification. An argument Chen rejected, Chen being the judge. So even though now it's a common carrier, and cell data usage is a common carrier status nowadays, doesn't help them after the fact. They're still going through with the lawsuit, and they're still having to deal with all these legal issues, even after this same scenario could never happen again.
Wow.
So, so anyone out there who was, because I believe this is a class action lawsuit, so anyone out there who was part of the unlimited data plan, but then you got throttled, this is going to involve you, but it's they're trying to get their way out of it, but it's no go to this judge.
So good for the judge.
Good for the judge for seeing through what could possibly, honestly, this has a lot of jargon in it, and it has a lot of nuance, because you might say, oh, well, now we're a common carrier in terms of our data, and many judges out there would probably look at it and say, oh, you're right, okay, we're going to throw the whole case out, sorry everyone. But no, this judge is, I think he has a good idea around what the actual case is about, and he's not really letting it go, even after all the little legal hurdles he's been thrown. Which is what you like to see. You don't want to see judges, kind of take it and say, oh, this is too technical, or I don't understand this, or...
What was that judge who said, he had never sent an email or something like that in his life?
I think, no, that was a senator, and he was the head of the technology cabinet for the Senate, and he's never sent an email. In terms of positions of power, they're still very much held by people who are Luddites. And sometimes Luddites kind of lead to, oh, I don't understand, or oh, I don't care, and things get thrown out even though they do matter. So this case, though, the judge is winning.
Very good. Well, good. Good for him. Good for that. All right. So this next story, this is from Engadget. We were talking about the Chrome OS and the Chromebooks. Acer's Chrome OS all-in-one Chromebook is the first with a touchscreen. Calling me surprised. I thought they had them with touchscreens, but they don't. But if you're intrigued by the idea of an all-in-one Chrome OS computer, but we're hoping for something a little more exciting like the likes of LG's Chrome base, you've got it. Acer has just unveiled its own Chrome base. The system has a 21.5-inch 1080p display like its LG rival, but It's the first to include a touchscreen for those times you want to share input or just can't be bothered to reach for the mouse. It's also running on NVIDIA's Tegra K1 chip rather than the speedier Intel Celeron of its competitor, although that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're looking for a quiet, low-powered PC. Whether or not it has the lower cost to match is up in the air. However, Acer ships its Chrome-based to Asia and North America in the second quarter of the year, but it hasn't divulged the pricing yet. Looks a nice-looking computer, though. It looks nice. Leaning back, it's like an all-in-one.
I think this is the first time that an all-in-one touchscreen featuring the Chromebook OS
Yes.
has been out there, because they've had the Chromebook Pixel, but that's still a laptop, not an all-in-one.
Yep.
And they've had Chromebooks at the lower price point, but again, those are all laptop-like devices, and especially at the lower price point, they really didn't have touchscreens. So in terms of desktop computer, I've never really given thought to a desktop computer running the Chrome OS.
There it is. Now you have it.
Now you have it. Weird.
Yep.
All right. So next story. How about this one? And by the way, folks, let me just tell you, I go out there and I look for these, all these stories, trying to weed out the real ones from the fake ones today. It was harrowing. Harrowing would be a good word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe all of these to be very, very true. So this next one is actually a blog post coming directly from Microsoft, and we're excited to announce it. MS-DOS comes to Lumia smartphones. Yeah. So all the productivity you've come to expect from a Windows phone in the simplest operating system ever. So MS-DOS brings Lumia back to basic. Microsoft is going to go where productivity began for millions of people, launching our most beautifully simple mobile OS yet. The MS-DOS mobile preview is an essential download for those who remember life before Windows, those who want to go back to basic, or even those looking to boot into DOS for the first time. So yes, Lumia phones, you can go and download MS-DOS for your phone, and it even has texting and swiping, that kind of thing, all built into the operating system. Very cool.
I would have thought that was an April Fool's story.
You'd think so, but I'm really excited for this one. It's I'm not seeing a price and there are no reviews, but here we go. I'm sorry. It's free, oddly enough. So, go get your MS-DOS for mobile phones.
Yeah, it is free. Exactly. Okay. There it is. Again, I would have thought that was a full story. So Ben and I are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And this next story, Raptor launches Plays TV and says you too can be a pro. Plays TV takes a bite out of Twitch and YouTube Instagram style, and today they announced the official public launch of a gamer-focused service called Plays TV, a kind of Instagram for gamers, where the idea is that everyone in every game has an epic moment of some kind. The idea, though, says Raptor, is entirely different from Twitch TV and YouTube. According to Dennis Fong, CEO and founder of Raptor, we've had him on the show before, by the way, Twitch is just too complicated to set up for most people, and YouTube is like uploading your moments into the ether. The premise behind what Fong says is that there's a junction that serves a clear purpose through Plays TV that doesn't exist on any other platform, and we get what he's saying, literally. Right now, Twitch TV is primarily a platform for pro gamers. They're there to make money as full-time broadcasters. At that point, you're essentially an entertainer and less of a gamer. On YouTube, it's everything and everyone: makeup artists, cooks, car crash videos, street fights, idol shows, and gaming. However, YouTube announced recently that it would compete with Twitch TV. As for Facebook, it seems that gamers don't often share their quirky or crazy moments there. Facebook isn't a place for game moments either. You have coworkers, random friends, and family. It's just weird. And this again, according to Dennis Fong, because we're trying out Plays TV now, and the service is very easy to use. The videos upload seamlessly, and there's not much involvement at all, which is a good thing. The Plays TV client handles the work duties for you, and those who use Raptor can also upload to Plays TV. Raptor is hoping that its current install base of 46 million gamers will find a home on Plays TV. With Plays TV, users are able to instantly create a 15-second, user-definable video clip of what's happening in their game. The Plays TV client continuously records the gameplay sessions to ensure no moment is missed. Plays are then sent directly to the user's profile page where like-minded players can view and comment. Raptor's current user base, combined with Plays TV ease and use and stardom appeal, makes for a compelling community. This again, according to Dennis Fong. And he would know, rewind the game scene back to Quake 2 days, and Dennis Thresh Fong was a renowned world champion. Some would say he was the first professional gamer and the best FPS player of all time. Since then, Fong has created 4 companies, 2 of which are thriving today. The other 2 were successfully sold to larger companies. It's been a long road for him since winning John Carmack's Ferrari. Raptor's business model, too, has expanded with Plays TV. Originally launched as a cross-platform communication system for gamers, Raptor became a tool to solve some of the headaches surrounding performance from various variations of the PC ecosystem. Think GeForce Experience, but for all platforms. The Raptor client detects your hardware and games and tunes settings to deliver what it believes to be the best combination of speed and quality. Raptor recently secured a partnership with Intel, and having AMD under its belt, the company is now the biggest player in game system optimization. So there you go. Okay, and we've had them on the show before, and I talked to their head of PR. And when things settle down slightly, we're going to be talking to him and see if we can get more involved with this for this new sort of Plays TV service. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, it's Plays TV. It's I kind of like it because it's kind of melding social media and gaming, which has always been a nice hand-holding experience. But he can do a lot of things right, but it's really going to be up to the community, and he's given the community lots of tools that they need to grow and evolve. But at the end of the day, if the community isn't there, not many people are going to use it. So he's going to need to really kind of foster bringing names in and bringing people in to use the service.
Yeah, and maybe we can help him do that. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We will be right back. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where the special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Come on in. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, Kendall Howard racks. We've all seen equipment racks. We got in some short ones from Kendall Howard with some special features and a treasure chest of accessory products. But this review needs to start with a U. Racks are wide at a fixed width, usually 19 inches, some 23, some other widths. The height of the rack itself, and the equipment that holds are defined as multiples of 1U, which is 1 3/4 inches. Most full-height 6-foot racks are 42U. So if we wanted to mount our Pioneer receiver on a rack-mounted shelf or a tray, for example, its 6.6-inch height would consume a 4U or 7-inch rack height. As it happens, there's a better answer for that. We'll get there in a few seconds. The coolest part of what we got is a pair of 8U high pivot frame wall mount racks. The ears that are on gear are screwed to the rack frame just like any other, but when it's time to reach around to the back for working with connectors, 2 side pulls release the rack to pivot down 90 degrees like an oven door. The back of everything is sunny side up, so you can do what you need to do, then swing it all back up into place. Got ear-free gear you need right here? A non-pivoting 1U extension can attach to the bottom or top of the rack frame. Attach a shelf to that extension for a piece that won't slide out when the rest pivots down. Even better, it's topless, so a 1U shelf at the top of the rack can hold that 4U Pioneer receiver just fine with no danger of it toppling. Bottom line, Kendall Howard Innovative Rack Solutions beat the heck out of the wobbly stacks most of us endure. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network. It's 34 minutes after the hour.
Whoops, my bad. Sorry, I had to run. Hi, welcome back to the Computer America Show. Everything Craig just said, plus I was supposed to be doing it. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. And we're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Sorry about that once again. We're doing, as I just said, computer and technology news. We pick them out from all over the internet, and really, really great ones spanning from, kind of holiday themes. So there are a few mixed in here that are specifically for April Fool's Day, as well as just general happenings around the interwebs, including new product releases. Just finished up with Place TV and Raptor, which is a very cool service that's coming up. Hopefully that takes off in a very strong way. But I believe the next story is mine, actually. All right, so this next one, it was actually kind of cool. I saw this last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it, though I'm glad I found it again. This was just posted 5 hours ago on popsci.com, and it's a bike safety spray paint that is invisible during the day, but super bright at night. Yeah. And I believe this one is from Volvo. Yes, Volvo, the car company.
Yeah.
Making spray paint.
Yeah.
For glow in the dark. Weird. So, the article goes, remember the glow-in-the-dark reindeer we read about last year? The same group that came up with an animal-safe spray paint to prevent herds of Santa's helpers from getting hit by cars has struck again. But this time they're keeping people safe instead of wildlife. Reflective paint company Albedo 100 teamed up with Volvo to create Life Paint, a spray paint that can be applied to clothing, backpacks, and bikes. It is completely invisible during the day, but at night, when headlights hit it, the paint glows like a beacon. It can wash out of clothes, but the downside is that it only lasts a few weeks. So the fact that it can be washed off has attracted criticism from people who say the temporary paint is less safety measure than a publicity stunt. The product was developed to promote Volvo's Vision 2020 resolution that no new Volvos would be responsible for death or injury of a person by the year 2020. That's a very bold mission. So it may not be better than the permanent light-up bike, but if you accidentally left your reflective gear at home, being able to paint your clothes with reflective spray paint seems like a helpful, although temporary, safety solution. For more permanent solutions, there are startups that offer similar services. One company, Hub Powder Works in Massachusetts, will paint your bike with a permanent highway-grade reflective paint for between $300 and $400. And of course, there are also DIY options. So far, 2,000 cans of Life Paint have been given away at bike shops in London. If it is a success there, Volvo plans to expand the program. So, Greg, I don't know if you saw the pictures of this thing, but but what do you think?
I think that it looks really. I think it looks really cool, and I think for an emergency purpose, you could spray it, and yet it would wash out of your clothes, so you wouldn't ruin your clothes. Although, as they say, it's invisible during the daytime. So, but can you imagine going out in the evening and your clothes start glowing? It might be something that you don't want to do. So the fact that it is, I think there's a place for both. They should have temporary and they should have permanent, and because there would be uses for both. So.
But I like even spray paint in general isn't that permanent. Like it's even just your ordinary everyday, maybe even industrial grade spray paint only lasts in especially not on surfaces like clothing or otherwise only lasts for about a year.
Yeah, well this only lasts about 2 weeks or something. So it's really short.
Depending on how often you wash the product and things like that, and subject your bike to rain. It only stays on a couple weeks, but it's really cool because they have about a 2.5 minute video of them showing like what a person looks like during the day in normal lighting, and then what it looks like when they actually have a light source directed at them and it reflects. And it would be so easy to spot these people. Like it's not just like a little tag there. You could pretty much cover your entire bike and your clothing and your person, and like. Your entire being lights up like it's daytime. It's crazy.
Yeah, you'd be hard to miss. There's no question about it. It is a very cool technology. But as I said, they have a temporary version, and they also maybe they should have a permanent version.
Again, I don't believe permanent would be possible. Like the only reason that the Massachusetts company that will paint your bike is permanent is probably because they put the reflective paint on, and then they put on multiple layers of clear coat. And then I bet even then they probably have fine print that says only lasts 15, 20 years. Like it would be impossible to make a permanent solution in a spray can.
To me, 15 to 20 years is good enough for the bike will probably degrade in your clothes. You're not gonna have the same clothes 20 years later. So I think that for all intent and purposes, you can consider it permanent.
Well, no.
What clothes do you have from 20?
You can't do it on clothes either because you can't put multiple clear coats on clothes.
No, yeah, exactly. But saying something that if it lasts for 20 years, saying that it's not permanent is really not correct. As far as I'm concerned, if something lasts for 20 years, it's you can consider it to be fairly permanent.
I'm just saying that there's no chance they're going to have a permanent solution for spray can reflective paint.
Okay. All right.
That's not going to happen. So it's
okay. Hey, now, when was the last time when you forgot to order pet food for your dogs, Ben? I mean,
order? You mean go pick up?
Go pick up food, and you go, oh gosh, I forgot, and you just gave them the last.
They give you that look, and it's like, oh, you forgot to feed me, Ben. I rely on you. Why haven't you fed me?
The guilt is horrific,
Sad.
Yeah, and carrying it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Molly, Zach. I'm so sorry. I was playing video games, and I was like, they can wait.
That you have to eat. I'm playing my games, exactly. Well, not only that, though, but not only for your pet food, but, what about buying new filters for your coffee machine or toner for your laser printer? I mean, wouldn't it be cool if your appliances would remember for you? And that's the intent behind Amazon's new Dash replenishment service. Which hardware makers can integrate with their devices to let your appliance re-up on supplies when they deem you need them. Okay. DRS will go public this fall, and Amazon's already announced a handful of partners, including Whirlpool, Brother, and Brita, so your printer might realize you're low on ink and decide to order you some, which certainly brings its fair share of convenience, but it also seems to suggest a high degree of autonomy that perhaps we don't all trust our machines to have. We will have to remember to tell our smart refrigerators to not order a week's worth of groceries when we're on vacation, right? Or to take it a step further, what if your smart pantry decides maybe you, shouldn't be eating all those cookies and instead ordered you kale chips. Granted, it's not quite HAL 9000 severing an astronaut's oxygen hose, but come on, kale chips? This slightly less creepy version of this is the Dash button, which Amazon also announced this week. It's a branded adhesive gadget that's pre-programmed with a certain product. You get, say, the Tide detergent button. Okay, you stick it near your washing machine, little button type thing, and when you run low on detergent, you just press the button and it orders Tide from Amazon. Just push the button and that's it. The Internet of Things, wherein all our appliances and devices are smart and connect to a network, is here to stay. But personally, this author worries about the day when Amazon gets so smart that it starts sending you, probably by drone, the latest and greatest smart self-purchasing appliances before you can order them yourself. Okay.
That's a future I can't wait to get to.
Exactly. But I still think it's kind of neat, you know, that it's a little Tide button. You can just put it on your washing machine. And
like, the technology behind it really wouldn't be that hard. It maybe connects to Wi-Fi. It has all of your account information stored. It has the product details stored, and bing, bang, boom, it wouldn't be that hard to do. The only thing that, like, I guess this is partially what they were kind of joking about there towards the end was, you know, the appliances buying themselves and, you know, sending you stuff. That's where big data comes in, and you're wondering, oh, what do I care if they're collecting data on what I eat, what I buy? Every time you use like those discount cards at the grocery store or at gas stations or at pet food stores, anything like that, they're tracking all this kinds of information. So they joke about it, but at the same time, grocery stores and, you know, stores in general know before you do. When you're coming in to re-up on milk, when you're coming back in for dog food, they know before you do when you need to come back. So they joke, but Craig, don't you think that at some point there could be a certain level of autonomous delivery system?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, look, Amazon is going to do anything it can do to find new ways to sell you its products, and this is just one of the mechanisms to kind of wrangle you in to ordering stuff from them by making it more so convenient and easy to do. Why would you go someplace else when you can just push a button and that's it? You don't have to worry about it, and then it's delivered to your door the next day. You know, there's your box of Tide.
But it's not even so much the button and you press, but I'm talking about the autonomous part of it.
Well, what about it specifically?
Do you think it's a good thing that they can do? Like, do you think it's, first of all, is it plausible? Second, would it be a good or bad thing?
Yeah, it's plausible, but you know, you can't say that about oh, it's all good or it's all bad. You're going to be able to find examples of where it's good, and you're going to find examples of where it's not so good. But the question you really need to ask yourself, does the good outweigh the bad, or the bad outweigh the good? And on the surface, I think that making it easy to get things, you know, with a push of a button is a good thing, especially for the people who are, you know, who are don't have accessibility to outside, or, you know, that don't have the car, or they're older, you know, or don't have access. This is certainly a very convenient way of them to be more self-reliant. Just push the button and it gets delivered right to your front door.
Well, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, like, this new technology generally doesn't come into the homes of those who are, you know, maybe old enough that they can't drive, and therefore, let's face it, odds are not the best with new technology. So it probably won't come to that. But I'm actually wondering, Craig, you might remember this. Days of old. The milkman comes.
Of course.
You set your bottle out. They take the bottle away. They put the new bottle of milk on your doorstep.
Yep.
That kind of thing. What if the milkman became a drone, and instead of just milk, they could actually kind of, on a weekly or monthly basis, drop off your paper towels, your milk, your you know, potato chips, like your AA batteries. Like, you could actually order all these things and have them automatically delivered through one service.
Yeah.
Like, if you can think it, you can pretty much guarantee that these companies, especially companies like Amazon, have already thought of it and are probably working on a way to make it happen.
Yeah, and it's not a bad. I don't think necessarily a bad thing either.
So it's we've seen it time and time again where we kind of say, imagine someday in the future. Well, someday in the future comes in about 2 to 3 years, and I honestly would not be surprised to see Amazon come out with a service of, automatic delivery of, recurring goods or whatever fancy thing they put on it, where they kind of deliver, things you run out of every month,
right,
and they can provide for you automatically.
I like to be able to push a button and get the dog food, so it saves me a trip going all the way to PetSmart. I just push a button when the dog food runs low, and the next day out on the front door is a bag of dog food. That's not a bad thing.
Yep. Okay. Well, this next story, I found a version of it, and one of our listeners in the chat room found another version of it. His is from The Guardian. Mine is from Popular Science. I'm going to do the one from, let's see, which one's longer? They're about the same length. Okay, so I'm going to just stick with what I know and go with Popular Science. This one, lightweight power boot makes your walk more efficient.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
Pretty cool. So over the past decade, bionic exoskeletons have been making a bit of a splash in the medical world, promising new and exciting methods of locomotive rehabilitation. But while these mechanical power suits can work small miracles, there's still one major issue. They are super expensive. To help disabled or paralyzed people improve their gaits, exoskeletons rely on sometimes complex combination of motors and batteries, and they don't come cheap. So now the researchers at Carnegie Mellon and North Carolina State University have come up with a simpler solution to improve walking efficiency ever so slightly. In a new study published in Nature, the research team details their latest creation, a wearable boot-like exoskeleton that can reduce the energy cost of walking by 7%.
Okay. All right. Not a lot.
No applause? Okay, whatever. No, 7% may not seem like a lot to you, but if you're going through therapy, that's a pretty noticeable difference.
Yeah, it would be.
So yet the main selling point for the boots is that it doesn't need battery-powered motors, making it lightweight and accessible. That means it's much more likely to be in the price range to a wide range of people.
Can afford it. Yeah.
So for study co-authors Greg Sawicki and Stephen Collins, the inspiration for the boot came from examining the mechanics of the human ankle. They said that the joint is a major power source for the human gait. Most of the energy coming from the leg comes from the muscles and tendons around the ankle. Ultimately, they hoped the researcher's strategy was to give a little extra push for the ankle when the ankle pushes the leg off the ground. Mm-hmm. So it kind of goes on into a little bit more detail of what exactly they're doing and where it goes into. But really, looking at the technology here, it seems to be a series of springs, gears, and that kind of thing. Just a little bit of mechanical help that straps onto your boot, and they actually have a strap that goes on around your calf. And by attaching it to your shoe and your calf, and without using muscles or anything like that, or without using batteries or motors, just springs and simple machinery, they're able to reduce the walking on your feet, or the stress on walking, and I think that's really cool. It's not as high tech as some of the other exoskeletons. I mean, like, this thing isn't going to make you be able to run marathons if you're out of shape, or this thing won't let you lift 500 pounds over your head. But at the same time, it's cheap and easy, and it does something that before really wasn't around. So very, very cool technology.
Yeah, it is. And they're saying it only costs a couple $100s as opposed to an exoskeleton, which is between $40,000 and $80,000. So certainly brings it into an affordable.
Useful tech doesn't have to be expensive or high tech. I mean, $40,000 to $80,000, you can do a lot with that kind of thing. Yep. But at the same time, if you can do it for a couple hundred, that's better technology.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Now, we've been talking about Sling TV now for some time, and CNET just came out with a story that Sling TV is going to offer HBO add-on for $15 a month. $15 a month. So for the same price as a subscription to HBO Now, Sling TV is allowing a subscription to its $20 per month service to add HBO as a live channel along with a selection of video-on-demand shows HBO provides on its other platforms. Okay, this is good news for cord cutters. It's the latest provider. Sling TV is the latest provider to announce the availability of HBO without requiring a cable subscription. $15 a month. You access the live HBO channel as well as the same extensive video-on-demand library HBO provides on its other platforms. HBO is not yet available to Sling TV subscribers, but it will come in time for the season premieres of 2 of HBO's most popular shows, Game of Thrones and Silicon Valley, on April the 12th. The exact launch date will be announced very, very shortly. Sling TV is available on numerous devices, including the Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and the Xbox One, as well as Android and iOS devices and Macs and PCs. To get HBO on Sling TV, you'll need to be subscribed to the base package of channels, which costs $20 per month, bringing the minimum monthly cost of HBO on Sling to $35. The $15 per month standalone HBO Now subscription, meanwhile, will be available initially only on Apple devices. Apple's exclusive to the standalone service lasts for 3 months, meaning that people who only want to subscribe to HBO Now will have to wait until then to watch this service on other devices. So unless you happen to live in an area served by Cablevision, the New York area broadband and cable provider has also announced it will offer HBO Now without requiring its customers to subscribe to cable before April the 12th. So there you go. HBO is coming to you soon on Sling TV, and not too soon.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to hear. So this next story, I'm actually playing it right now, and I realized the folly of my errors. This next story, this is kind of an Easter egg from Google. If you know Google in any capacity, they have how do you call them? They have little Easter eggs that they like to hide around. You know, maybe if you type in "do a barrel roll," the entire search engine will do a quote-unquote barrel roll. So this next one, though, is indeed a kind of a play off that, except you can take any location in Google Maps and, lo and behold, turn it into a Pac-Man board. Complete with little edible pellets and what have you, and it's pretty much taking anything Street View and letting you it turns all the major roads on whatever you're zoomed in at, and it has all your favorite Inky Blinky. I think it's Inky Blinky.
Nod.
What?
Inky Blinky and Nod.
No. It's Inky Blinky something and Dot are the 4 ghosts for Pac-Man. How do you not remember this one, Craig?
I don't remember this one.
Weird. Anyways,
I remember the Powerball. Though the Power Spot, you eat those.
Yeah, the Powerball too. But no, it's the 4 ghosts. They chase you around, and you can do all your favorites. Be it the Lombard Street in San Francisco, if you want to do Central Park and the walking trails and that kind of thing. But I'm currently doing it where I live in Florida. It's just a cool little Easter egg.
And all right.
Oh, and by the way, the way to access it is you go to Google Maps. You can look at it anywhere, any street, doesn't matter. And you in the bottom left corner they have satellite view, and then they have Pac-Man view. And Pac-Man view turns whatever you're looking at into a Pac-Man board.
Very cool.
Definitely worth checking out.
All right. I don't think we have any time to do any more stories. One of them from Engadget, you can create a better 3D model by waving your smartphone around, which looked interesting. Again, I'm always suspect of these stories, because it's April Fool's Day, and then we've done that in the past. We've actually reported on a news story, and then found out the next day that it was actually an April Fool's Day prank, because some of them are so real and so plausible, and you fall into that trap too easily. But anyway, let me just take this quick moment to, again, invite all of you to enter in our contest at computeramerica.com. Just go to the Interact pull-down menu, and it says Enter Contest. You'll see our Logitech contest is there. We're giving away 3 great prizes from Logitech. The grand prize is the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker system valued at $70. The second place prize is the Logitech D400S optical gaming mouse, and the third place prize is the Logitech HD webcam C310. The entry form is right on that very same page. You don't have to go do anything. Just put the info in there, click the submit button, and you're in. And you can do that as often as you like. And the contest will finish Friday, April the 10th. We're coming up to the end of it at 12 midnight. Over the weekend, over the weekend we'll announce, we'll draw the 3 winning names, and Monday, April the 13th, we'll announce the 3 big winners. So make sure that you get your entry in. And of course, there's a show reminder winner as well. Just subscribe to our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder. And from those, the list of subscriber names every Friday, we draw a winning name to win the Logitech T650 glass wireless touchpad. So, enter in all of our contests. You'll have a lot of fun playing them. And who knows, you might win something really, really nice. Coming up tomorrow, in the first hour, we're going to have a company called Exactor. And this is talking about should you file your taxes electronically, how to
90 seconds.
Tax season a year in advance, some tax tips for small businesses. We're going to have Jonathan Barsade on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Last month was for science, so we did a lot of science articles, and we even had a lot of science guests. This month, because it is April, we have a brand new theme for the month,
which is Tax Day.
Which is financial awareness and pretty much technology and finances where they meld.
That's right.
So expect a lot of those themes.
All right, and of course in hour 2 we'll have more computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, thanks to Mike Cermak for being with us here in the first hour. It's a lot of fun talking about Tesla and that we didn't get to the story, but we think it's going to be a battery for your home. That's going to be the next product coming from Tesla, and it sounds interesting, to save power in your home in a battery. Anyway, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining us, and so until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good day, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right. Again, thanks everybody for watching us on our Google Hangouts, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with our new theme, the taxes and how to manage your finances, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Dot.
And Dot. There you go.
That's it.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, wait. Oops.
What?
It's Inky, Pinky, Blinky, and Clyde. My bad.
Clyde.
Clyde was the last. Okay, we're good.
Good night, everybody.